Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today's Tuesday, the 9th of June. I'm your host Daniel, and today we're going to talk about the UK is set to ban harmful social media for under 16s, a NATO jet has shot down a stray drone over Latvia, and the Trump DOJ is to denaturalize 17 US citizens. So firstly, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is set to announce a ban on harmful online platforms for children under the age of 16 while maintaining access to some safer forms of social media, the Times newspaper reported on Monday. Starmer, who was due to make a speech later on Monday, but apparently hasn't, is said to have decided to proceed with the restrictions after speaking to bereaved parents and considering evidence from Australia which brought in a ban last December. So what? I think this is a good idea, but the big issue around it is how you enforce it. Enforcement has been the biggest challenge, and this has been the case in Australia. And, you know, it comes in with like some pretty controversial stuff around, is there going to be like user ID for getting onto social media platforms, and how do these platforms, keep kids off the platform? I'm sure everyone that is listening to this podcast grew up in the age of having a cell phone and access to the internet. So we all know how easy it is to get around, age verification for some reason or another. And similarly, alcohol, most people, drink underage. So we all know how to get things that we're not supposed to have under the age we're trying to get it. But I think it could be a move around like a medium-term solution where you try and shift the culture around social media and move kids away from wanting to have it, though just due to its addictive nature. I think this is going to be extremely hard. But I do think it's a good idea. I do think that, we need to do more to protect children online. But how we do it is kind of the big question, while maintaining freedom of access to the internet. And next, a French fighter jet shot down a drone on Monday when it entered Latvia's airspace from Russia, according to the Latvian military. In a post on X, they said that an allied fighter jet successfully shot down a drone flying into Latvian airspace. So what? I think that's pretty interesting wording. They said they shot down a jet entering Latvia from Russian airspace. They didn't say if it was a Russian jet or a Ukrainian jet. So, it leaves it open to the possibility of both. But I don't think that really matters. It just this is just a show off of how effective NATO TDPs are of identifying flying threats and eliminating them as soon as they enter friendly airspace. So there's kind of two possibilities here. One is that it was a Ukrainian drone flying towards probably the St. Petersburg region that got jammed or flew off course and just happened to drift into NATO airspace and was then eliminated. And the other is that it was a Russian surveillance drone that was flying along the border and either purposefully tried to test NATO TTPs by flying along, right next to the line or just over the line, and was then eliminated, or it also just accidentally strayed over into NATO airspace and then was eliminated. I don't think it really matters. I don't think it's really going to blow up from here. I think that's unlikely. It's just going to continue. I think this is just going to become par for the course. Either it's Ukrainian drones flying towards targets, in other regions of Russia, and they get jammed, go off course, no big deal. Or it's Russia just trying to test NATO, which, they've done multiple times in the past now. So it's not really a big deal. It will continue to make headlines though, because, people like talking about this sort of stuff, and it gives me something to say in the morning. So good. And lastly, President Donald Trump's Justice Department announced on Monday that it would denaturalize 17 US citizens who have been convicted of crimes in various courts. According to the statement, 17 people who were born in Cuba, Haiti, Somalia, China, India, and elsewhere, though they were convicted of crimes such as healthcare fraud, wirecard fraud, and conspiracy to manipulate stock prices. The DOJ accused these individuals of covering up for their criminal activity during the naturalization process. So what? Stripping someone of a citizenship is always a controversial move, but I think it's pretty understandable. You don't want people who have come to your country to then break the law or have broken the law in the past and lied about it, to then gain citizenship and gain the protections and free access to your country. That's a privilege, not a right. it should be able to be taken away from them. That's just kind of, as long as you aren't making them stateless, then I don't see the issue here. Making someone stateless, I can see the problem. If they were born in your country and are a citizen of your country and grew up in your country, then I think they are your problem. You need to deal with them. But if they've come there as an adult and they've become, a citizen of your country and then committed a crime, then I think you should be able to strip them of their citizenship. I don't think it should be easy, and I think it should be a pretty rigorous process, but I think it should be able to be done, especially in the case of like high-level crime and also terrorism, because, that just kind of makes sense. But I am interested to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. This is a very controversial thing to do, so I'm open to hearing what people say. Please let me know what you think down below. Cheers. That's been the Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you.